Good morning. Hi, everybody. Yes, I'm here. I'm here. I read something yesterday that pissed me off so bad that I could barely sleep last night. Thus, I got very little sleep and then went in at 10 o'clock like I usually do on this time of year. Worked all night, and I'm here, and I'm still pissed off. No amount of thinking or anything took away my edge that I have today. But perfect timing. It is FTG Thursday. So very fitting, very, very fitting. And I just tweeted out the show late. I'm somewhat at a loss for words, but I have a lot of words too. Let's put it that way. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, you'll find out in 1 minute. Play the intro. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, PDawg Knight. Good damn morning. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as PDawgKnight, and welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel on the internet. I said that wrong. Also known as Dawg Knight on the internet, and welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel. It's Thursday, which around here is known as FTG Thursday. It's the 10th of December 2020, and this creep, remember we were talking about creep, government creep, and this is what I'm about to talk to you in theory doesn't have to do with government, but it actually does, because there are 4 senators who wrote a letter, and this is the, when a lot of people on the left like to talk about fascism, like to call people fascists, right? And fascism is kind of a quasi, it's a government oligarch kind of thing where the government and I don't even want to define it. You have no idea what I'm talking about, do you? I should probably tell you that. I should probably tell you what the hell I'm talking about. Effing YouTube. Now, it's not going to affect my channel. I don't think I cross the line in this area too often, but the problem is once they tell you, I still haven't told you what I'm talking about because I'm too pissed off right now. Let's do this. I'm going to cheer myself up first. And you know how I'm going to do that? I'm going to say good morning to the people in the chat because y'all make my day every damn day. I'm just saying. So here we go. In the chat first today, and someone who doesn't always get a chance to make it here live is Maniac Man, who gets the bell. Oh, that was terrible. Let's try that again. Why does my phone always do this? It's kind of annoys me that it won't allow me to. All right, here, let's give you a proper bell, Maniac Man. There we go. Also, good morning, Gunfox61, the ever generous administrator of my Discord server. Also, good morning, Mike Savage, Blarg. Good morning, Jonas Pedersen. Fucks, Joe. You do have sympathy. Oh, I see. Yeah. Also, good morning to Becca Fairley here early. Nice to see you, my dear. Good morning, Advocatus Diaboli, the devil's advocate. Good morning to Selecta Boy.
Yeah, boy.
Also, good morning. Oh, wow, you guys been here. You guys got here early. Donatella Slapfellow's in the house. Also Maddie, and I'm sure that means Ronan's in the background somewhere. Also, good morning to Stabbing Joe Scarborough, keeping the knife sharp, and James PFP. Whoa, and a son of a bitch. I wonder what that means. I'm okay. And also, good morning, Green Badger Outdoors. Good morning to Rai Deos. Nice to see you here. It's nice to see you being a regular again, to Rai Deos. I appreciate that. Also, good morning, Fight for Your Rights, Saint Fugi, Nathan Payton, Anna Lynn, Cultist 4. Hey, welcome back. Guten Tag to you too. DI Freighter Watcher, good morning. And as I scroll down, I got everybody? I kind of do. Jackals Freudstein, hello, how you doing? Nice to see you. Jason Arnold, what's up? And I think, oh, hey, Larry's in the house. Hey, Larry, how you doing? All right. And I'm sure people are rolling slowly. So, you know, what's interesting. Wow, I'm really washed out. What the hell's going on there? Let me fix my face. Good God. What the hell's going on with my, oh, Jesus. Let's at least, oh, you know what? This whole damn thing reset again. I hate it when it does it. I can't. There, let's do that. A little contrast. Let's keep the contrast good. There we go. All right. Now I feel like I'm a little human again. I was looking like I was like I ate something that wasn't agreeing with me and was turning green. Anyway, you know, there's this big federal lawsuit against Facebook right now. The social media giant is being sued by 48 states, 49 states, and the federal government for antitrust. And while they're at it, why don't they just go ahead and hit up Google and their video platform, YouTube? Because YouTube has done, it's basically shitting on its creators. Not happy. I am not happy with our friends at YouTube right now. Monopoly, Google's monopoly video platform, YouTube, sends out a warning to all YouTubers: if you even discuss election fraud, we will ban you from the platform. Now, there's been several caveats to this. Good morning, Jason Arnold, by the way. And then the GOP continues to defend, promote, and do special immigration favors for the tech leviathans, imposing techno-fascism on the country. Yeah, I call them techno-oligarchs, but techno-fascism, same thing. Our policies disallow content alleging that widespread fraud or errors changed the result of a historical U.S. presidential election. So they say while they've allowed some discussions about election fraud when the election was, they claim current, now that the safe harbor deadline has come, any content claiming election fraud in a historical past election is now a violation and will be deleted. Now, they did this before the Texas lawsuit started making its way up to the Supreme Court. And it seems like with 18 states joining in, it's going to be hard for the court to deny this lawsuit at least being heard. Also, by the way, the other lawsuit, you know, they supposedly was down 9-0. That case hasn't been dismissed. It's still in the docket. They just decided not to hear it 9-0, but it's still in the system, so to speak. But anyway, funny though, they never banned anyone for claiming Russia stole the election, even after the Mueller report proved in 2019 that no such stealing took place. As such, they continue in their notice As such, starting today, we will remove new content uploaded on or after December 9th, 2020, alleging that widespread fraud or errors changed the outcome of the 2020 U.S. presidential election. Emphasis in the original. For example, we will remove videos claiming that a presidential candidate won the election due to widespread software glitches or counting errors. Well, here's something I would say that may save me, because I've never said there was at least on my channel, I've never said there was widespread fraud. What do they say here? Widespread fraud or errors that change the outcome. I never said there was widespread fraud. I have always contended that it's been very, very surgically chosen fraud in very surgically chosen states. So it's not widespread. It's very pinpoint accurate fraud that in the places they needed it to be done. So will this stream get taken down for that? I don't know. I guess I will find out. But there is one big lawsuit that is part of the news that I can't help but talk about today, and I'm going to talk about it, but it's going to be after I talk about this. Thank you. First donation of the day from This is Kyle. Good morning, Kyle, who says, hello, chat people and P-Dawg. Well, hello to you too. This is Kyle, or just Kyle. That's probably makes sense since you're telling me this is Kyle, but that means you're Kyle, and good morning, Kyle. So there you go. So anyway, so Stacey Abrams, this is from the Ace of Spades. Who wrote this anyway? This is Ace who wrote this. Let's see. This was posted by, yes, it was posted by Ace. Another donation. Thank you. Fight for your rights. With the $2 through YouTube Super Chat. Greatly appreciated with no message, but I do appreciate the support. Have you ever seen Susan in her high heel boots? She is sexy as fuck in them. Just saying. By the way, good morning and greetings programs to chat. Greetings to chat. I mean, I think that means thank you, James Collier. Good morning to you too. Yeah, we'll get to this. So, this article by Ace continues. Stacey Abrams and her left-wing journalist supporters were permitted to continue alleging the election was stolen from her due to unproven claims about voter suppression. I assume that by specifying they will ban content about fraud or counting errors, they are stealthily implying that Democrats will continue being permitted to claim every election was stolen from them due to either voter suppression or Russian collusion. The left-wing theories of vote theft will be allowed to survive and thrive. How is the media reacting to this techno-fascist attack on free speech? Oh, they're very critical of YouTube. They're critical of YouTube for having allowed discussion of vote fraud for a month. They are chiding YouTube for just banning it now. But the U.S. media is very supportive of banning all speech that doesn't conform to their left-wing options. Some headlines to prove this. This is CNN's headline. YouTube waits until a month after the election to act on false claims of election fraud. Note the criticism in the headline is just about waiting to impose fascist thought control. Forbes' headline was, YouTube waits until a month after the election. YouTube to finally start removing stolen election content weeks after Election Day. Finally, at long last, fascism! The Daily Beast. YouTube finally bans video from election fraud cranks. Finally again. And then the subhead reads, took your time. Yes, they sure took too much time in deciding to eliminate free speech rights from half the population of the country. The media is always the driver of censorship. It is always CNN demanding that Twitter and YouTube and Facebook censor this content or deplatform this commentator, and they keep running hostile negative stories until the social media monopolies comply. Although I think this is achieved by collusion, the social media companies want to censor, but they need their left-wing media fascists to make the case for attacking free speech before they do so. Democrats have been very aggressive in demanding that social media monopolies strip citizens of their rights to free speech. And here's an example from Engadget. Senate Democrats, well, here, I'm going to open this up. Senate Democrats call on YouTube to pull videos with election lies. Interesting. They get to decide what lies are. 4 senators sent a letter to YouTube expressing deep concern over misinformation. YouTube CEO Susan Wojcicki, or however you say her name, received a letter on Tuesday from 4 Democratic senators expressing deep concern over the spread of election misinformation on Google's video platform. In the letter, Senators Robert Menendez of New Jersey, write these names down, people. Robert Menendez of New Jersey, Mazie Hirono of Hawaii, Gary Peters of Michigan, and Amy Klobuchar of Minnesota. Asked YouTube to commit to removing content with false or misleading information about the 2020 U.S. presidential election and future political races, including the coming pivotal Senate runoffs in Georgia. Now, I'm just wondering to myself, which ministry of truth shall they use to make sure that we don't put any misleading information? Their letter says, we urge you to immediately remove all election outcome misinformation and take aggressive steps to implement prohibitions as other social media companies have done regarding outcomes in future elections, the letter reads. Now, you know what really pisses me off about this? You know damn well that these senators, and these senators know damn well too, they can't do this legislatively, can they? They know that they cannot do this legislatively. They'd be thrown out of their ass right out of the Supreme Court. But they're United States senators demanding that a company censor people on their platform because they call it misinformation. Good morning, Cynical Lindsay. How you doing? And Uncle Bobbity too. How you doing? I am just. This is unbelievable, and the idea that any of this is misinformation. It's interesting that the misinformation is coming from people who have signed affidavits under oath with the possible penalty of perjury. Really? What's the misinformation? Tell me which information is incorrect. What can you prove is misinformation? Huh? In the immortal words of Kanye West, huh? Good morning, Duck Dog. Hasn't Miss Maisie been linked to a Chinese spy? I'm not sure she's one of them, but I think I have something on that. Anyway, so before I even go any farther, our first FTG of the day goes to Senators Peters, Hirono, Menendez, who he should have been yeeted he should have been yeeted from the Senate a long time ago. I mean, he's corrupt, that corrupt bastard. And my local Senator Klobuchar, first FTG of the day. Just fuck all of them. I mean, not in the good way. Well, I don't know if there's a good way. Unfreaking believable. Unbelievable. It's so maddening. Anyway, the report is from November. Now let's see. That report. Oh, that letter is from November 24th, and now, with the media Democrat complex demanding authoritarian speech controls and making the case for censorship, YouTube decides, oh, we'll comply. We've been just waiting to censor these right-wing bigots. 3, 2, 1. As they always do. Can't wait for the corporate-owned libertarians to explain to me that free speech is not right, and if I don't like it, I should just make my own internet. No, that's not what the libertarians are going to tell you. Thank you. This is Kyle, by the way. Oh, it didn't show up in my... Well, it will in a second here. It'll show up in my list in a second. And I should obviously also make my own credit card payment services too, because you can make your own internet and then make your own credit card service payments, services too, because those companies have begun banning anyone whose speech they don't like too. Fuck them, FTG. And so no one can earn money from speech unless it's the right kind of speech that the ruling class techno-fascist junta finds agreeable. Speech is a luxury only for the independently wealthy. Tell me how many gigantic mega corporations do I need to found for myself before I'm allowed to speak freely? Good point, Ace. Dave Rubin chimed in. So here, let's take a look at this letter. Dave Rubin put it online here. By the way, thank you. This is Kyle, who says, I uploaded a video today that was titled, "This has nothing to do with Joe Biden," to see if the AP will mess with it. Now, to see if it'll get banned. Well, yeah, because anytime you write about Joe Biden or you write about, or if you mention Trump or whatever, I mean, you can mention some completely innocuous things and you'll get one of those little... The AP called the election for Joe Biden. In fact, what is the new one? There was one, the new one today. I don't know where it is. Anyway, let's do a quick check here. So here is the email Dave Rubin got and a lot of us got. Here, let me make it so you can see. Put it on the full screen there. We just shared an update on YouTube's election efforts, including how we're handling community guidelines pertaining to election-related misinformation. Now, what's the funny thing about this, too? This isn't in their terms of service anywhere. There's nothing, and if they haven't, maybe they haven't done it yet, but it's not in their terms of service yet. Our policies disallow content alleging that widespread fraud or errors change the outcome of a historical U.S. presidential election. Really? Okay, where's that policy? Is it? Okay, I can't right-click that. We allow this type of commentary for current elections. Now, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Whoa! I didn't catch this. I'm going to read this again. Our policies disallow content alleging that widespread fraud or errors change the outcome of a historical U.S. election. We allow this type of commentary for current elections as election officials work to finalize counts. December 8th was the safe harbor deadline for the U.S. presidential election. States need to resolve contested elections by then. And enough states have now certified their election results to determine a president-elect. Hey, you know what? We still don't have an official president-elect. The Electoral College has not voted yet, but that's not the problem here. Notice how they say historical elections versus current elections. So they're considering that this election, because they passed the safe harbor date, this election is over. Oh my God. As such, starting today, we will remove new content uploaded on or after December 9th, 2020, alleging that widespread fraud or errors changed the outcome of the 2020 U.S. presidential election. I wonder if they'll let you tweet about the U.S. Supreme Court cases as they go through the courts. Just curious. Hello, Special K on Acid. But here's the problem. Here's another problem. So it disallows content that fraud or errors change the outcome of a historical U.S. election. Stacey Abrams is a good example, right? Because she still says that she was cheated, right? But I bet they don't remove that content. There's historical information about the election of 1960 that the mob in Illinois turned the state for John F. Kennedy. Can you say, will they remove that content if you talk about that? How about in the year 2000, Bush versus Gore? Are you allowed to, are people on Democrats and leftists allowed to complain about that election with Florida? Is that no longer allowed? Will that content be taken down? I wonder. This is all just gatekeeping, or they're just protecting Joe Biden. They want this so bad, and they just got it. They just don't want anyone to say anything else about it at all, because if you just stop talking about it, then we can just move on and have Joe Biden as our savior and Kamala our future president when Joe Biden steps down. Holy shit. So they continue. As such, starting today, we'll remove new content updated on or after December 9th, alleging widespread fraud or errors change the outcome of the 2020 U.S. presidential election. For example, we will remove videos claiming that a presidential candidate won the election as a result of widespread software glitches or counting errors. This is in line with our approach towards historical U.S. presidential elections. Bullshit! Again, let's go back just to the 2016. Do they allow content that says the Russians stole the 2016 election? I bet they do. I bet there's plenty of it on YouTube right now. What? I mean, they make it sound like this has been their policy. This is in line with our approach towards historical U.S. presidential elections. Nope. Content that includes sufficient ESDA context may remain on YouTube, similar to how we allow COVID-19 medical misinformation that violates our policies to exist in videos with EDSA content. I don't even know what the fuck that is, and I don't care. Sorry, I'm swearing. If your content is impacted, you will receive automated emails from our system regarding this content. As we ramp up our enforcement, we will initially remove violative videos. Is that even a word? Bullshit, God. We will begin issuing strikes for new content uploaded after Inauguration Day, January 20, 2021. Why? After January 20, 2021, no one's allowed to believe anything but what you tell us to believe? The Ministry of Truth? Good God. Thank you. Thank you, Snap Joe Scarborough, with the donation through YouTube Super Chats. Thank you. Fun fact, Stacey Abrams used to wrestle in the 80s under the name Junkyard Dog. Oh, my God. Oh, my gosh. See, now... Thank you, Stab Joe Scarborough. This made my day. By the way, Junkyard Dog, when I was a kid, that was one of my favorite wrestlers. I loved the Junkyard Dog. He came out this big old like chain around his neck and I love the junkyard dog. Anyway, so can I have an FTG for Susan? What's FTG? Susan, Raja, whatever the hell her name is. There you go. And FTG YouTube. You know, some middle manager fuck's face wad shitbag and YouTube thought of this bullshit. Of course, the senator's writing a Karen letter to YouTube probably had a little bit to do with it too. Thank you. Good morning, Sapphire Dragon, by the way. How you doing? God, unbelievable. That is just some bullshit. Anyway, so did I even finish up on what Ruben said? So Ruben says, holy shit, just got this email from YouTube. Starting today, they will remove content about election fraud. Even though there are court cases about election fraud going. See, that's the other thing. I don't think whoever decided to do this at YouTube probably had no clue that there was still election fraud court cases going on. Because look, these cases are current, regardless of the safe harbor day. So, you know what? So you can't talk about those? Can you show those hearings? Can you show the hearings that are still going on in the different states? Can you talk about the Supreme Court decision? Speaking of which, hang on a second here. Oh, I'm just sickened by that bullshit. Let's see here. I have a whole bunch of FTGs, but I got them queued up here. Oh, funny. That we'll have to. Anyway, let's. God. Just when you thought moral authoritarians were bad, in come the moral totalitarians. Ain't that the truth, Avocados Diaboli? Let's see. I was just looking at what people are saying in the chat here. Yeah, just unbelievable. Anyway, update on the Supreme Court. I'll leave that there. Here's let me give you a quick summary of the Texas lawsuit because several states have joined on. I think it's up to 18 states now. And so I have another American Thinker article that kind of summarizes what's going on here. What is going on with this damn thing? Why is that? Okay, there we go. All right. So let's go just quick. This is an update. So here's a summary of the lawsuit that's going forward. So Texas claims that the presidential elections as held and as directed by government officials outside the legislature in Pennsylvania, Georgia, Wisconsin, and Michigan all flagrantly violated their own election laws by materially weakening or doing away with security measures. Further, according to the U.S. Constitution, the legislature, representing the citizens of each state, has absolute authority and responsibility for how presidential electors are chosen, the will of the legislature being expressed through state law. Texas claims that the violations of election law in these states created an environment where ballot fraud was enabled and likely to occur. The lawsuit lists the violations of law in each of the defendant states and provides evidence of fraud, a number of ballots handled unconstitutionally in each of the states, sufficient to change the outcome of the ballot count. The facts: Pennsylvania. Excuse me. Oh, by the way, you know what? Hey, man, I'm a pat. I just need to catch my breath. And I do have my cup of reparations coffee in the PDawgKnight cup, which I'm not selling because I'm going to use the new artwork. But eventually we'll have one of these. This is the one my daughter had made me, though. The first. Why is that little light thing? I can't. There we go. The first iterate. Oh, there's the way to do it. Just turn it a little bit. What the? Anyway, you get the idea. That was the first iteration, and let's all take a sip. Anyway, I don't know why I did that. Good Lord. But everyone have a sip of whatever you got. Drink them if you got them. Okay, the facts in Pennsylvania. Vote tally, 3,440,000, blah, 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 to 3.3. Oh, for Biden, and 3.4 million for Biden, 3.3 million for Trump. Margin 81,597. Requests for mail-in ballots, 70% Democrats, 25% Republicans. Mail-in ballots increased from 266,000 and some change to over 3 million in 2020. The violations of election law. The Secretary of State unilaterally abrogated signature verification requirements for mail-in ballots. The Pennsylvania Supreme Court changed existing deadline for receiving mail-in ballots from 8 p.m. on the day of election day to 3 days after the election and adopted a presumption that non-postmarked ballots be considered valid. Election officials in Philadelphia and Allegheny counties did not follow state law permitting poll watchers to be present for the opening, counting, and recording of mail-in ballots. The Secretary of State directed election officials to remove ballots before 7 a.m. on the day of the election in order to cure defective mail-in ballots. This was done only in Democrat majority counties. And number 5, election officials did not segregate ballots received after 8 p.m. on election day, breaking the promise made to the U.S. Supreme Court, thus making it impossible to identify and remove those ballots. Evidence of fraud: ballots with no mail date, 9,005. No evidence they were sent by a voter. Ballots returned on or before the mail date, 58,221. Ballots returned 1 day after the mail date, 51,200. Perhaps not impossible, but highly unlikely for the average voter to receive a ballot, fill it out, place it in the mail, and have it returned the next day. On November 2nd, the day before the election, Pennsylvania reports that 2.7 million ballots had been sent out. On November 4th, that number had increased to 3.1 million, an increase of 400,000 mail-in ballots at election time with literally no reasonable chance of them being used by legitimate voters. So yeah, saying that it increased 400,000, but they had no record of them going out. In Georgia, the facts: vote tally, 2.4 million. 2,472,098 for Biden, 458,121 for Trump, a margin of 12,600. By that way, that the margin in Pennsylvania is eclipsed by the number of evidence of fraud votes. Mailed-in ballots, 65% for Biden, 35% for Trump. I'm just rounding. Mailed-in ballots increased from 213,000 and change in 2016 to 1.3 million in 2020. The violations of election law. Secretary of State unilaterally abrogated signature verification requirements for mail-in ballots, which is state law. The Secretary of State authorized opening and processing of mail-in ballots up to 3 weeks before Election Day, when the law prohibits that until after the polls open on Election Day. And the Secretary of State materially weakened the security requirements for ballot rejection based on signature verification and other missing information. Evidence of fraud. Am I still streaming? I'm just checking. I haven't looked, but y'all are still in the chat, so I apparently I'm still streaming. Good morning, TC Ball. Evidence of fraud in Georgia. Mail-in ballot rejection rate for missing or inaccurate information or for non-matching signatures decreased from 6.42% in 2016 to 0.36% in 2020. Rejecting 2020 ballots at the same rate as 2016 would have resulted in a net gain of 25,587 votes for Trump, twice the number needed to overcome Biden's count. With the six-fold increase in the number of mail-in ballots, reason would indicate that the rejection rate would increase or at least stay the same with so many first-time mail-in ballots. Michigan, the facts. Vote tally, 2,796,702 for Biden and 2,650,695 for Trump, a margin of 146,007 votes. In 2016, 587,618 voters requested mail-in ballots. In 2020, 3.2 million votes were cast by mail-in ballot. Democrats voted by mail at a rate approximately 2 times that of Republican voters. Violations of election law. The Secretary of State unilaterally abrogated signature verification requirements for mail-in ballots. All of them said, yeah, we're not going to verify these signatures. Nah, we're not going to do that this year. Wonder why. 2, the Secretary of State sent out unsolicited ballots to all 7.7 million registered voters, contrary to election law, which requires a voter to request a mail-in ballot through a process that includes a signature to be matched with the voter registration. That's That's an important safeguard in a mail-in ballot. Number 3, the Secretary of State also allowed absentee ballots to be requested online without signature verification Local election officials in Wayne County, containing 322,925 more ballots for Biden than for Trump, opened and processed mail-in ballots without poll watchers present, or at least within eyesight. And finally, number 5, local election officials in Wayne County also ignored the strict election law requirements of placing a written statement or stamp on each ballot envelope, indicating that the voter signature was in fact checked and verified with the signature on file with the state. Evidence of fraud: 174,384 mail-in ballots in Wayne County had no valid registration number, indicating they had likely resulted from election workers running the same ballots through the tabulator multiple times. And we saw evidence of that. They had video of that happening. Also, number 2, 71% of Wayne County absent voter counting boards were unbalanced, where the number of people who checked in did not match the number of people who cast ballots. And finally, Wisconsin, the facts: vote tally 1,630,716 for Biden and 1,610,151 for Trump, a margin of 20,565. Mail-in ballots increased from 146,932 in 2016 to 1,275,000 and change in 2020. Violations of election law. Wisconsin election commissions position hundreds of unmanned illegal drop boxes to collect absentee ballots. The use of any drop box, manned or unmanned, is directly prohibited by Wisconsin statute. They broke the law. Any alternate mail-in ballot site shall be staffed by the municipal clerk or the executive director of the Board of Election Commissioners. That's the law. Ballots cast in contravention of the procedures specified in those provisions may not be included in the certified results of any election. That's also part of their law. Number 2, the WEC, the Wisconsin Election Commission, encouraged voters to unlawfully declare themselves indefinitely confined in order to avoid security measures like signature verification and photo ID requirements. Nearly 216,000 voters said they were indefinitely confined in the 2020 election, nearly 4 times as many as in 2016. And number 3, strict laws requiring mail-in voters to certify that by signature including the signature of an adult witness, were ignored or circumvented by election officials. Evidence of fraud: 100,000 ballots were supposedly missing and directed to be found after Election Day. So anyway, that's just the summary of the lawsuit. You can read the summary there. I'm done with that. All right, let's get into good morning, Renee and Mayette. How are you doing? Let's get into some of the FTGs today. But before I do that, I'm going to hit the commercial so I can get myself organized. I'll see you back in 1 minute. Bye.
Hey everybody, it's me, Marty. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I hope you're enjoying the show. The Morning Night Live is sponsored by you, the viewers of the Morning Night Live. Please, if you have a moment, take time to share this stream by hitting that little arrow down below or up here if you're on a mobile. And please hit the like button. I know you like it if you're still here and you're still watching. And finally, if you want to support the show, you can do that through your donations and super chats, which are in the description down below. You can do that at Streamlabs link or at PDawgKnight.live. That every little bit helps. And thank you for watching. Now back to the show.
All right, I am back. So let's get into some of the festivities of the day. Now, what was it yesterday that I told you how Goya Foods made AOC the employee of the month because she was so instrumental in having Goya Foods increase their sales by 1,000%. Well, AOC is a little bit triggered by that now, and she had some select words yesterday. $35 a pound for ribeye. Wow. You know, at Sam's Club, it's more like it's been about like 15 pounds, but it depends, or 15, roughly 15 a pound, something like that. But that's Sam's Club, and you have to buy the, you know, big giant, like 1.5 inch thick cut ribeye steaks, but still. So AOC was not happy with Goya Foods after they made her Employee of the Month. And a cute little article here from Red State. Goya CEO triggers AOC so badly she tries revising her Goya boycott call, but receipts tell the true story. As Brandon Morris reported Monday, Goya Foods CEO Bob Unanue told the Michael Berry Show yesterday that Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez of New York joining in on the calls to boycott his company back in July backfired big time, so much so that she was named the company's Employee of the Month at one point. When she boycotted us, our sales actually increased 1,000%. Unanue stated she got Employee of the Month for bringing attention to Goya and our adobo. Now, while a lot of us chuckled over her remarks and embarrassed, Ocasio-Cortez was most certainly not amused. She said as much in a response to a tweet from a Media Matters propagandist who pretended to ask a serious question as to whether or not AOC had actually called for the boycott at the time. And here it is. So here's Bobby Lewis, who's one of those, he's a Media Matters for America troll, whatever. You know, I just consider that whole site a troll. Serious question. Did AOC actually lead a boycott of Goya Foods, or did she just make a Twitter joke about adobo recipes and people in the media called that a boycott? Well, naturally, AOC was 100% in agreement. Oh my gosh, just having serious gastronomical problems here. So she replied, excuse me. No, I just Googled how to make my own adobo, but of course Fox would rather indulge their made-up fantasies that acknowledge that in the Trump administration's catastrophic response to COVID, millions of people rushed to buy canned goods, which then had to be rationed at grocery stores. Bullshit. Maybe in where you live, where our store still had food on the shelves. Yeah, right. Okay. But, and then she says, we know that neither acknowledging science nor food rationing under crony capitalism works in their understanding of reality, so they're going to go with food staples sold out because of the tweet once. Well, the problem with the Reverend and AOC's claims about what she supposedly did or did not do at the time, calls for boycotting Goya were at their loudest, is that they are demonstrably not true. Because I'm a nice person, I'll break it down nice and neat so AOC and her devoted fan club will maybe understand. On the afternoon of July 9th, anti-gun activist Igor Volsky posted this viral tweet of Unanue committing the unpardonable sin of praising President Trump during a Rose Garden ceremony. Make your shopping decisions accordingly, Volsky advised, the CEO of Goya Foods, outside of White House, blah, blah, blah. We're blessed to have a leader like Trump. Make your shopping decisions accordingly. A few hours later, AOC quote tweeted Volsky's tweet while adding the comment, oh, look. It's the sound of me Googling how to make your own adobo. Sounds like she's supporting a boycott, doesn't it? Make your shopping things accordingly. And she's, look at me Googling how to make your own adobo. And here we are 5 months later, and we're supposed to now believe that her retweeting a call to make your shopping decisions accordingly with her own message about Googling recipes was not intended to be her doing her part to help advance the boycott. This is gaslighting. Anyway. Oh, yeah, and she still has $60 sweatshirts for sale. So she's a capitalist. What the hell? Anyway, I just always have a reason to, what is FTG AOC? There you go. All right, let's move on. Let's see here. Oh, this is... Oh, good God. So this is someone named Amelia Thompson DeVoe. And she has a question. She has a question. And I actually have an answer. I'm going to have to finish this video that I'm working on because it's short, but it's going to be funny. Amelia Thompson DeVoe has a question about men and their devotion to the orange one, apparently. So her tweet here, why did so many men stick with Trump in 2020? The COVID-19 pandemic may have given him a way to reach more masculine men. Many of those men actually liked Trump's shrug it off approach. So here's her story at 5:38. Just gird your loins. Given how unreliable exit polls were this year, now I wonder why she starts out that way. Because, every exit poll that I've seen since the election have said a couple interesting things. One, black women's support for Donald Trump doubled from 4% to 8%. So it's not a lot, but it's certainly more than it was in the past. Black men's support for Donald Trump went up about 8 points from 10% to 18%. And then that also, that's overall black support. I think it was black men was like 20%, which brought the black vote for Trump up to roughly 18%. So the black vote increased. Hispanic voters voted in a higher percentage for Trump this year. LGBTQ voters voted in a higher percentage for Trump this year. Suburban women voters voted at a higher percentage for Trump this year. The only demographic that showed a marked decrease in support for Trump in the 2020 elections, and don't ask me why, I don't know, but it would be white men.
Why the fuck
You're fucking white man!
Oops.
You're fucking a white male!
White men went down 5%. So I'm not sure why she's saying, given how unreliable the exit polls were this year. Maybe it's because, let's see what she's referring to here. Oh, of course, this is 538, so any of their polls were if it's 538, any of their polls were unreliable from the beginning of the election season to now. Anyway, it will likely be a while before we know exactly how differently men and women voted in 2020, but a new survey from the American Enterprise Institute Survey Center on American Life offers some clues indicating that once again, gender and sexism may have been a dividing line, as it was the case in 2016. That may seem surprising since this year's contest pitted President Trump against another white man.
You're fucking a white male!
Instead of a woman, much less the first woman to run for president on a major party ticket. It certainly seemed possible heading into this election that the gender gap might be smaller, especially as Joe Biden seemed poised to pick up more support among male voters than Hillary did. Only that doesn't appear to have happened. Really? Yes, it has. At least not in a widespread way. Oh, not in a widespread way. Kind of like there wasn't widespread voting fraud, but there was some voting fraud, at least if you listen to the news media. But according to research conducted before and after the election, the COVID-19 pandemic may have played a large role in exacerbating gender divisions in the electorate. The split wasn't enough for Trump to win this time, of course, but we don't know that yet, but I'm going to get banned, but his attitude toward the coronavirus crisis may have actually been a bonus for some men, which could present a real challenge for Biden moving forward. Why is Biden beta? Anyway, overall, most Americans consistently disapprove of the way Trump handled the pandemic, but the AEI poll found one notable exception. Men who identify as completely masculine. Yes, us masculine men. Come on, baby. As the table below shows, a majority, 52% of men who identified as completely masculine on the survey agreed that the Trump administration has a strategy on COVID-19, setting them apart from other men and women. I'm just curious how big the sample of... Never mind. I'm not going to go there. Compared with other respondents, completely masculine men were also more evenly split on the Trump administration's handling of the pandemic, more likely to believe that wearing a mask was more about being politically correct than preventing the spread of COVID-19, and more likely to oppose a national mask mandate, which everyone should fucking oppose. There is data showing that the mask mandates really make zero difference. Places without mask mandates versus places with mask mandates. It seems like the places with mask mandates have more cases. Anyway, so she wants this about being masculine and whether or not there's masks or not. I'm not going to read the rest of this, but just for her writing this, just for the fact that she wrote this drivel, FTG Amelia. Thompson DeVoe. Anyway, stupid article. Also in the bookmarks. Oh, this is interesting. This is Christy Noem from North Dakota, who is a fine individual. Put an article in the Wall Street Journal. Do I even have this? Oh, maybe not. Oh, that doesn't work. Let me try something here. That's not really what I want to do. Let me try this real quick. And I don't know if I might have to get an archive copy. Oh, wait, no, that's not the one I want. Oh, well, let's skip that. Let's get back to Eric Fartwell. Because so this was I thought this was kind of a big story, Chinese spies infiltrating the office of an elected representative in the House of Representatives, and just getting their fingers in the American pot and stirring things up a little bit. You thought that you'd think this would be a fairly big story, right? Well, not so fast. Major media outlets mostly ignore story linking Representative Eric Swalwell to a suspected Chinese spy. Really? Why are they ignoring this article? Oh, wait a minute. I bet you can guess. I bet you can guess why they're ignoring this article. I know you can do it. Major news outlets have mostly ignored the Axios report linking Representative Eric Fartwell, gotta stop calling him that, to a suspected Chinese spy early in his political career.
China is asshole.
However, despite having been a loyal guest on MSNBC and CNN for 3 years to promote the Russia investigation, including allegations about President Trump being an agent of the Kremlin, the latest Swalwell news received almost no attention from the cable news outlets on Tuesday. Fox News reported on Wednesday. Well, what the hell? MSNBC spent roughly 5 minutes on Axios' reporting during the network's 5 a.m. program on Tuesday without mentioning it again for the rest of the day. Meanwhile, CNN completely avoided the story altogether, both on air and online, the report continued. Fox News also noted that major newspapers such as the New York Times and the Washington Post, both of which dedicated much coverage to allegations against President Trump concerning Russia, had not yet afforded any coverage to the Swalwell story. Broadcast networks ABC, NBC, and CBS also skipped coverage of the controversy during the morning and evening news shows. Isn't that special? Now, Swalwell did make an appearance on CNN Wednesday in which he briefly addressed the story. He said, quote, "I was shocked just over 6 years ago, I was told about this individual, and then I offered to help, and I did help, and I was thanked by the FBI for my help, and that person is no longer in the country. And I was a little surprised to read about my cooperation in that story, because the story says that there was never a suspicion of wrongdoing on my part. Did it say that? Does anyone remember that saying that? Anyway, Swalwell also told Politico that he found the timing of the Axios story to be suspect. I've been a critic of the president. I've spoken out against him. I was on both committees that worked to impeach him. The timing feels like that should be looked at, Swalwell said. Really? I think your security clearance and participation in the intelligence committee should be looked at. Anyway, Swalwell went on to accuse the intelligence officials who spoke with Axios of attempting to weaponize his cooperation in the incident. Now, what's funny about that, also the fact that Axios had been working on this story for over a year. So there is no timing. This is just when they finish their story. Yes, FTG to Fartwell. Thank you, Uncle Bobby. Anyway, so he's basically pretending me no speak any English when it comes to this story, except for he was set up, kind of like Nancy Pelosi was set up in their hairdresser to get her hair did. So FTG to Mr. Fartwell, by the way, or Swalwell, or however you want to call it. FTG Fartwell. Oops, Fartwell, whatever. Same thing. He will fart, has fart, will travel. Now, let's see. Oh, this is Robert Barnes tweeted something. A court ordered statistically significant sample of Arizona's mail-in ballots found that 11% of the accepted ballots did not match, according to the Democrats' own expert. That is 30 times more illegal ballots than the margin of victory. Georgia, Pennsylvania, and Nevada are likely worse. So that's an interesting little tidbit. Now, this one, when I heard about this, I did not believe it. I
to protest this show.
So, as you may know, Jake Paul had a boxing match last weekend, and where he won the match decisively against Nate Robinson, the former NBA star. And in that fight, Nate Robinson got knocked the fuck out. Jake Paul knocked him out. Okay. And this next clip here, maybe I these two women sometimes are smart, but they're so caught up in one facet of the world that you just gotta see it to believe it, because they decided they're going to interview Jake Paul. They just they had to ask Jake some questions on this Vice interview, and one of Jamil Hill, I don't know the other gal's name because I don't know, but anyway, here's a part of that interview, and you're just got to see it to believe it.
To be honest, I almost started to protest this show. Because why? I'll tell you why. And this is our question of the week. We saw what happened to Nate Robinson, so I'm going to ask Jake Paul right here in front of America. Jake, considering where we are right now in our racial conversation in America,
Hold up. What? What? She going in a direction that where we are in our racial conversation in America. Where are you going with this, Jamel? Yes, people, she is going exactly where you think she's going. Ready? Listen to this question. Now, and I'll tell you, I'm going to give you a little explanation until and this is only a minute and a half snippet of the video. Listen to this question.
America, was what you did to Nate Robinson racist?
That is.
Okay. Was what you did to Nate Robinson racist?
That's racist!
Now let's see how Jake handles this, because I think he does okay.
Is the question of the week.
Man.
Nah, stop playing with me. Come on.
Listen, Jake, it's a sensitive time right now. We just had to witness a white man just knock a black man smooth out in front of all of America.
But what were they doing? What exactly were they doing when the white man knocked the black man out?
You're fucking a white male! That's racist!
What exactly was the white man and the black man doing when he knocked Nate the fuck out? Oh wait, it was a boxing match. Isn't that the kind of the point? Oh my God. Unless they, maybe it would have been racist if before the match the rules of the match is that they were going to tie both of Nate Robinson's hands behind his back and sit him in a chair and just let Jake pummel him. But that wasn't it. Anyway, let's continue this a little bit, because at first I thought this was just her being silly, kind of just joking along, as kind of yuck with Jake Paul, right? But wait. Just wait.
So that's why I asked that. But just tell us about that moment real quick, because it looked like Nate was asleep before he ever even hit the canvas.
Yeah, Nate was asleep.
Yeah,
already.
I mean, this is what we train for. At the end of the day, boxing's a sport, and you train to win, and that's what I went in there and did. Paul. And I worked hard for this, and Nate is the one who called me out originally. So
I think he is frozen.
Okay, so I'm just saying that's a good answer, Jake. That's a great answer. Just, don't even dignify the stupid of that question. But then, I thought for sure Jamel might have been just joking. She didn't really want to answer that question. She just wanted to say something funny. Is it racist that you knocked Nate the fuck out? But this interview continues.
Can you hear me now?
yeah, I can hear you guys now.
Oh,
Sorry,
okay,
my
that's
Wi-Fi is unstable, like my relationship.
Jake's funny there.
Okay, so let's start from the beginning.
Okay.
First and foremost, was it racist to knock a black man out?
They asked it again. And Jamel at least was chuckling when she asked it. Whoever this hoe, excuse me, I can't call her. Oh wait, I forgot. You can call people nappy-headed hoes again. This is nappy-headed hoe. Oh, she's got a weave on though. She's wearing a wig. She's got cultural appropriation hair. But she asked it again.
That is the question of the
No,
week.
stop asking me that. I said no.
It's not racist.
No.
It's a shitty question. It's a sport.
Exactly.
Why is it a shitty question?
It's a
Why is it
shitty question.
Because how does this have anything to do with race? It doesn't.
It's a fine question. We got to wake you up. You got to be a part of this
It's a dumbass
conversation.
question.
right.
It's like, because if you can go from,
Listen.
if
You know what? He just hit himself harder than Nate Robinson ever hit him.
Yeah.
So I don't know who Carrie is. I have no idea who Carrie is, but the fact that she had the gall to ask the question again, I just got to say FTG to Carrie and Jamel. Sorry, ladies. FTG, unbelievable, stupid ass question. It's a boxing match. So when Tyson Fury knocked, what's his name, Deontay Wilder out, was that racist? No. Tyson Fury knocked him the fuck out. That's all. That's all you got to say. You got, that's part of the draw of a fight. That someone might get knocked the fuck out. And that's all I got to say about that. Oh, good Lord. Let's see. Oh, let's see. Let's go to this one and this one. So, where is it? Where is it? Hang on a second here. Oh, so, this whole China thing.
China is asshole.
Not only with with Hunter Biden having dealing into China and then the Chinese spy working with Eric Fartwell, and there's other question about what China's going to. They kind of have their, that little video that they were referencing, as they were talking about how the Chinese are trying to gain influence within the circles of power in the United States. And the guy was saying how he was, they're getting influence wherever they can. Well, they also have quite a few ties in our media. And so there's an article in the Federalist today talking about that, a rundown of major U.S. corporate media business ties to China. It seems a number of major U.S. media outlets have financial ties to the Chinese Communist Party, and it shows in their coverage. Gee, I wonder if this is CNN has any ties to China. Anyway, despite the Chinese Communist Party's record of oppression, corporate media outlets are parroting the authoritarian government's propaganda, even in the midst of an outbreak of the CCP worsened through a cover-up. Many of those media outlets have financial ties to Chinese companies with intense oversight from the Chinese Communist Party. Thank you. BBC Rentals are recurring sponsors in the house.
That's right.
Thank you very much. And BBC Reynolds.
You are the new Streamlabs Superstar Donor of the Day.
Thank you for the $2. I'm sorry, I'll have to stop this story for an ad from our one of our more prolific sponsors, BBC Rentals. Here we go. BBC Rentals is starting up a new essential service for sexually sexual frastated liberal women. Frustrated. I'm so, it just, okay, anyway, you had a typo there and it made me go, what does that say? Okay, let me start over. Maybe I'll do it. I wish, I gotta, you know what? I have to have sexy music ready for this next time. Anyway, BBC Rentals is starting a new essential service for sexually frustrated liberal women. BBC Rentals introduces Fuck That Bitch service for Karens. Let's fuck the stupid out of these bitches with big member Tyrone. BBC Rentals. Unless you're racist.
That's right.
Thank you, BBC Rentals, who writes very similarly to our friend Black Hebrew Israelite. I think you're here. He's here somewhere. Good morning, Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
Anyway. Gosh. All right. So we're talking about how many of these media outlets have financial ties to Chinese companies with intense oversight from the Chinese Communist Party. You often see representatives from American companies with financial ties to China naturally become defenders of the CCP's policies and spreading the CCP's propaganda, said Helen Raleigh, an author and senior contributor at The Federalist, who emigrated from China. The financial ties means these Americans will have much less likely to challenge China's human rights records. China is asshole. Or unacceptable demands such as technology transfer. We do not know the extent of editorial oversight from corporations and individuals with financial incentives to placate the CCP if any, but we know the incentives exist, and that's worth understanding. Below is a breakdown of the financial ties between major U.S. media and the CCP. So they got, I'm just going to give you kind of a quick first one-liner of these. So the New York Times, Mexican millionaire Carlos Slim owns 17.4% of the New York Times through the class's Company A shares. As the largest shareholders, his investment allows him to vote for approximately 1/3 of the company's board. In 2009, Slim loaned $250 million to the New York Times Company, the parent company of the New York Times. That same year, Slim purchased 15.9 million Class A shares in the company. And he regularly conducts business with Chinese companies with overt ties to the CCP. In 2017, Slim's Giant Motors joined ventures with China's JAC Motors and began manufacturing cars in Mexico to sell in a Latin American market. According to Forbes, the goal of selling to Latin America was to circumvent the Trump administration's trade policies aimed at protecting American jobs, a move that benefited Beijing in the Chinese-American trade wars. Let's see, what else? Let's see. Also, according to Bloomberg Law, Slim's company, America Mobile, is teaming up with CCP communication giants Hawaii Technologies to pitch a 5G pilot project to the Colombian government. So anyway, Slim has some ties. The Washington Post, Amazon CEO and billionaire Jeff Bezos purchased the Washington Post for $250 million in cash. In January 2016, Bezos laid out a new business plan for the Post aimed at incorporating more technology. Bezos has direct ties to the Chinese business market, which is regulated by the CCP. The production of Amazon's most popular products, including Amazon Echo and Kindle e-reader, take place almost exclusively in Chinese factories. According to Newsweek, Amazon's products are produced by Chinese laborers who work for long hours with low pay and little safety training. Let's see. There's more there, but I'm just going to kind of give you a highlight of each one. CNN. This is CNN. CNN is owned and operated by Warner Media, which has a significant financial and institutional ties to the CCP. In June 2013, Warner Media announced it had forged a partnership with Chinese investment fund to the tune of $50 million. The funding would directly invest in the China Media Capital, which is CMC, a media company with oversight from the CCP, meaning it's subject to censorship and other demands to push Chinese propaganda. Well, that fits right in with CNN, doesn't it? Anyway, they go in a little more detail about that. MSNBC and NBC, both of these companies are operated by NBC Universal, a company with extensive financial ties to the Chinese Communist Party. In November 2010, NBC signed an agreement with China's state-run media organization, Junhao, to establish a business cooperation in international broadcast news. This was the latest market expansion by the CCP into American media. Since signing the deal, the U.S. State Department identified Junhao and 5 other Chinese state-run media organizations as foreign missions. They have been identified to direct CCP operations and do not function as independent news outlets. And then they have a little more detail there. ABC News. Well, let's just go through the list. ABC News has ties. Bloomberg has ties. As well as those others we've already talked. So I'll leave that article in the bookmarks today, which again, I add the bookmarks at the end of the show. Let me check here real quick in my edit here. Yep. And so you can check back in the description down below after the show, or you can check the Discord server. When I post the show in the Discord server, I also post the link to all of the articles that we go through during the day. Oh no, we're talking about organs. I don't know. At least Falun Gong organs are quality organs. Oh, good God. Anyway. All right. How much time do I got? Okay, I got a few minutes left. Let's get into one more here. Another person we can say FTG to is Hunter Biden. So did we talk about this yesterday? That Hunter Biden is being investigated? I think we did. Trust BBC to FTB. Okay. I trust that. It's very risque. This little thing going on with Hunter Biden and his taxes, supposedly, it was interesting because they said something about that they've been contacted and they just found about the investigation, although the investigation has been going on since 2018. And then they had a pause in the investigation into him during the election season because the Justice Department now has a policy that it won't do investigations that may change or may interfere or something or other with an election. And I did say election. X Bubba Hotep, how you doing? Yes, I did say election. What was the... There was something funny that... I can't remember what it was that we were going to say. Here, let's go with the full story. Okay, so... Anyway, apparently, it's not just a tax probe. Speaking of BBC rentals, it's not just a tax probe. Oh, I'm all over the place today. Hunter Biden's tax probe is also examining Chinese business dealings. Huh. You know, when Rudy Giuliani was bringing up stuff about Hunter Biden's issues in Ukraine and China, and we were told, nah, nothing to see here and whatnot, and they kind of swept all the rug, and the only places that did cover it kind of got pushed to the side and banned from YouTube and whatnot. Well, here, this is interesting. It's the Justice Department is investigating the finances of President-elect Joe Biden's son, including scrutinizing some of his Chinese business dealings and other transactions. A person familiar with the matter told the Associated Press on Wednesday. Now, this is the AP, so familiar with the matter always has me concerned when I see that. But anyway, the revelations put a renewed spotlight on questions about Hunter Biden's financial history, which dogged his father's successful White House campaign and were a frequent target of President Donald Trump and his allies. Dogged his father's campaign? What the hell? They never asked him about it. One question in the entire election season, and then it was off limits to even mention it. It was they were saying it was Russian misinformation. Oh, these lying bastards. And his father's successful White House campaign. Not so fast, the Supreme Court says. Anyway, they also come at a politically delicate time for the president-elect. Projected president-elect? That's what I'm going to say. Who is weighing his choice to lead an agency that is actively investigating his son. The tax investigation was launched in 2018, the year before the elder Biden announced his candidacy for president. Fascinating that I thought for sure this was a Russian disinformation campaign. What? They announced they've been investigating him since before Joe Biden announced he was going to run for president? You mean they knew they were investigating him all this time? Fascinating. The tax investigation was launched in 2018, the year before the elder Biden announced his candidacy for president. Hunter Biden confirmed the existence of the investigation on Wednesday, saying he learned about it for the first time the previous day. I take this matter very seriously, but I am confident that a professional and objective review of these matters will demonstrate that I handled my affairs legally and appropriately, including with the benefit of a professional tax advisor, he said in a statement. Isn't clear which entities or business dealings might be tied up in the probe, though the person with knowledge of the matter said at least some of the focus was on his past work in China.
China is asshole.
Federal investigations served a round of subpoenas on Tuesday, including one for Hunter Biden, according to another person familiar with the investigation. Investigators did not reach out until recently because of Justice Department practice against taking overt investigative actions in the run-up to an election. Oh yeah, that's not, well, they don't do it if it could hurt the Democrat. Now, if it could hurt the Republican, I think they would just fudge a little bit and go, oh, we've got a little investigation going, and then the media can ask questions now, right? Anyway, so I'm not going to read the rest of this, but yes, it's not just the tax thing. They're checking into his business dealing. I think they need to check into, and I said this a long time ago. See, we knew about Ukraine, right? And we also knew about China. How many of you knew about Romania? That was one of the other countries that Joe Biden was kind of put in charge of when he was vice president by Obama. He's like, those three countries. Biden has an issue in Romania too. Did you know that? That was in the news the other day. I can't off the top of my head tell you exactly what it was, but he has some issues there too. They're investigating his dealings with Romania. So there you go. Anyway, all right. Enough of that. Let's see. Oh, wow. It's already. Do I have anything else in the bookmarks that I really want to show you? Oh, by the way, here's this little snippet by Glenn Greenwald. Let's see here. So I just thought this thread was interesting. The Hunter Biden criminal probe bolsters a Chinese scholar's claim about Beijing's influence with the Biden administration. Yeah. And if you, in fact, I'll have Glenn Greenwald's article on this in the bookmarks. But professional Dontion says China's close ties to Wall Street and its dealings with Hunter enable it to exert more power now than under Trump. Now we're seeing Biden was elected, the traditional elite, the political elite, the establishment, they're very close to Wall Street. We should and could have learned about these transactions prior to the election had the bulk of the media not corruptly decided to ignore any incriminating reports on Biden. But learning about them now is a case of better late than never. And that's regarding the financial dealings between China, the $1.5 billion his startup investment firm was able to procure out of that relationship. As is true of so many countries, the U.S. talks much about China, but rarely airs the views of the Chinese. Dee's speech on the problems they had with Trump and why it will improve now is fascinating and revealing, especially given today's news about the criminal probe into Hunter. Just by the way, there was a lot of information on the laptop about Hunter Biden's exploitation of his father's name to pursue dealings with this company, which the probe is targeting. But Silicon Valley censored it, and many were barred from reporting it. Remember that? See, they said Google and YouTube, you couldn't even talk about it. And what was it? Twitter banned the New York Post, and anyway. Let's see. Here's the. Yeah, so here's the NPR public editor who didn't want to talk about that laptop story. We don't want to waste our time on stories that are not really stories, and we don't want to waste our listeners or readers' times on stories that are just pure distractions. Oh, yeah, way to go. Anyway, from the New York Times article tonight about Hunter Biden's criminal probe, the Biden team has rejected some of the claims made in the New York Post articles, but has not disputed the authenticity of the laptop files upon which they were based. And that makes it into the New York Times article. Media outlets to justify the refusal to report on the Hunter Biden China documents before the election disseminated two primary claims. One, this was Russian disinformation. And two, the document's authenticity is in doubt. Both of those claims were false. Anyway, we're moving on. So I linked Glenn Greenwald's article. Should I link this other one too? Nah, it's just another thread. So that's it. That's it. That's it, people. So that's the show for today. Not a whole lot of FTGs, but enough. Fart well, fart well, fart well. I just thank you so much for coming here today. Before you go, before you do anything, before you click anything, please hit the like button, that little thumbs up thing down there somewhere. I don't know where the hell it is. I don't know where to point for that one. And share the stream if you haven't done so already. I hope did I get this through this making sense? It's really hard to tell. I'm so tired. I'm slightly delirious, so it's hard to tell if I lost too many words into mumble vision or anything like that. I don't even know what that means, but I do know that I appreciate you guys hanging out in the chat, chatting, talking with each other, commenting. I appreciate all the people who do super chats and donations. That's fantastic. All of you who share the stream, some of you, every day tweet the stream out for me. And I just really appreciate all of you. We are going to be back tomorrow at the same time, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, like we are Monday through Friday of every week. Also coming up, this is the 289th show. So tomorrow's show 290, which means 10 more shows until show number 500. Now, not only will it be the 500th episode, but it's also going to be the Christmas show on Christmas Day. That's interesting. I might have some guests. We'll see who I can talk into it. But that's pretty exciting that we'll have our 2 weeks from today, our 500th show. So if whatever you do in Christmas morning, I know a lot of people get up and open gifts with the kids and things like that. But it just depends on how many people sleep in. I don't know what time it is where you are. Some of you, this is really early. So anyway, looking forward to that. 2 weeks from today, our 500th episode. Or excuse me, did I say 500? Yeah, 500. No, not 290. It's 489. Tomorrow's 490. Did I say 2? Okay, that was dumb. This is the 489th episode today. Tomorrow will be 490. 2 weeks from tomorrow will be 500. See, I'm so tired. I can't talk straight. I am not the only one that heard that. Okay, good. I thank you for correcting that. I did not know that I was going to say that. I'm dreaming of a wiped Christmas. I said 290. Okay, 490. 490. 400. I'm just amazed that I've done this for this many episodes, and it's all been just slowly growing, word of mouth, and I kind of like it that way. We get to know the people in the chat a little better and whatnot. It didn't grow too fast, but yeah. So 500 episodes, 2 weeks from today. That's it for today, people. I gotta go. That's it. My name is Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye.
Hey, this is Dawg Knight, and thank you for watching today on the Dawg Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comments section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterward so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cashapp, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.